Welcome back, everybody, to Parent with Purpose. Today we are talking to Sherry, and we are talking about household chores. Really? You know, those things that we want our kids to learn. We want them to learn how to take out garbage and vacuum and how to clean a bathroom and all of those things that when they get out there into the world, they're going to have to do. So we want them to learn it, as well as they're in our family unit now. And I remember my expression when my kids were young, you're part of the problem, you need to be part of the solution. So to me, that was kind of how I talk to my kids about doing chores. But we're going to talk to an expert today, Sherry, about chores. Should you pay for them? How you get them done? So welcome, Sherry, to Parent with Purpose.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me, Linda.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, about your kids and your website. Give us a little bit of everything.
Sure. So I'm Sherry. I own a small website called Helpful Kids, where I try to support parents in specifically about motivating their children to help around the home with household tasks, with chores. And my vision is to bring calm to as many families as possible and to help children gain confidence. As you said, kids will need to operate the world at ease. But what I love seeing is that when they are becoming more capable, when they have all these new competencies, kids feel more confident instantly. Right. So it's not necessarily just about the future, it's very much about the present, which is something I always tell parents, don't think about the future because you'll just wait, maybe, oh, let's just do it next week. No, think about your child becoming more confident and more proud today.
We want our kids to learn how to vacuum, clean the bathrooms. How do we start? Do we have a conversation with them? Like, what do we do?
I recommend to start is for you, the parent, to have some sort of clarity on your own priorities when it comes to what would you like your kids to learn. So before you come to your children with a bunch of stuff, and some parents are like that, oh my gosh, you're 12, you don't know how to do anything in the home. Have a bit of priority, and the priority could be between 3 different things, okay? Do you want them to learn skills that are for the entire family to do together? So cleaning and tidying up shared spaces. So shared spaces could be the kitchen, things around laundry, things around their toilets, if these are bathrooms that are shared between the family. We have the hall, we have the garden. So all these shared spaces, there's so many things to learn just in those areas. But actually, for some parents, the priority might be the child's own room. And the own room of a child is very different in terms of the psychology and how the kids feel about that space between the shared spaces. So just first of all, have a clarity, for you, the parent, what is sort of the bane of your existence? Is it your child's messy room, or is it all the shared spaces where you and your family share the time together? And as you say, it's everybody's problem. You need to be a part of the solution. That's very different. That's not something that you would necessarily say about a child's own room. In addition to that, there are a couple of behaviors that can be turned into second nature. So they can be everywhere, but they have like really high frequency. So clearing the dishes, picking up a towel from the floor again and again. These type of behaviors are the third priority. So you need to decide between, do you want to teach your children work in the shared spaces? So laundry, cooking dinner, cleaning dinner, cleaning the toilets, etc., or their own room? Or do you want to turn a couple of little nagging behaviors into second nature? Because these are very different types of behaviors that you want to help your child adopt, and they are very different in the sense of like how to make them happen. You need to know what you want.
So in one of the other videos we did with you, we've already talked about habits. So that was the third thing you were talking about there. So today, let's delve into the actual shared spaces. How do we get a child to participate willingly in cutting the grass and making dinner and cleaning bathrooms?
You cannot start teaching a child all of these different chores at the same time. Some of them may not be age appropriate, and just the sheer volume of running a household is something that takes years and years and years. And therefore, you should probably focus on 3 or 4 things that you are very important for you. And basically what you do is that you invite your child to have discussion about this topic. And the first thing you want to have in your mind is why. Why is it important? Why do you want him to start and learn or participate, or whether it's on an ad hoc basis, or why is it important for you that your child becomes part of the household management? And that why can be very authentically yours, okay? And different families will have different whys, and different people, maybe you versus your partner, your husband might have a different why. That why can be your feelings. For example, if you have an older child, you can tell them that you feel like you're an independent person, but maybe doing all the housework for everyone else is stopping you from maybe achieving your own success, and you're feeling neglected or you're feeling underappreciated. So it's your feelings, right? Another type of why can be, why is it good for your child, especially with younger kids, and specific actually with teenagers as well. You want to talk about why is it good for them, right? So maybe you're going to learn super skills, and I want to prove to you that we trust you, and actually you play a really important role in our family. So it's really about boosting your child's confidence and making him feel like actually this is something that's really, really good, and your parents want to empower you, the child.
Yes.
It could be the why is it good for the family? So as you said, a family that works together is happier. There's less resentment, the family functions better. So whatever it is your why, you sort of want to have a think about it before you go to your child, because if you don't have a think about it, you end up sort of airing your frustration, and that sort of derails the conversation completely, because it becomes it puts the child in like a flight or fight situation. So now suddenly the child feels accused. So all he's being busy is not listening anymore, but it's fighting back. So what we want to make sure is that at no point does the child feels accused or attacked. And to be very honest, even if we've asked the child to do a couple of things, unless we've really sat him down and created like a job description in a way, just like an adult, there's no reason why we would be so disappointed from them if we haven't really clearly communicated our needs and where we're coming from. Right. So the more you prepare your why and have like a cooperative discussion, the less chance your child will want to be argumentative about it, because he won't feel accused.
Right.
So that's another tip. Don't accuse your child. This is not about you or your behavior and you've been lazy, and that derails the conversation towards a conflict. It doesn't free up your brain, your child's brain, to listen. It puts these the guards up. I'm being accused. What do I need to do? Fight or flight. Okay, so have that conversation with your child, explain your why, and then invite them to ask what it is that they think that they can contribute to the household. So you might have your four or five different things in your own mind, but is there actually anything that your child loves doing or feels really confident about or has some sort of innate appreciation towards? And you're going to write these down. You're going to write down your own ideas as well. And together you're going to make a plan. You're going to make a list of these behaviors, of these contributions to your household. And what's amazing is that when you achieve collaboration, and there's just less arguments, there's less nagging, because the child felt like, they had a voice in making these decisions. Even if you end up choosing your ideas over them, if you can have one of the things that they suggested, they feel like this has been decided together.
You have 3 kids.
Yeah.
I have 4.
Yeah.
So we have, this chore list, that's very long. And do you suggest we sit down with all of the kids and have this conversation so we can kind of make a list of who's going to do what and why, and can that ever be changed? Like, how do you make it so that the whole family's working together on coming up with a solution? So
I suggest that when you have your why, and when you invite your child to, to say what they want to do, in my opinion, these are one-on-ones.
Okay.
So one parent, one child. And that is because you might be tailoring your why to the age of your child, to your understanding of that child. So you know that something might be really motivating for one child and completely irrelevant to another, right? So for example, if you have a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, you can actually talk to them about the future and about, you know, leaving the house and becoming independent, because that's 2 years from now. It's already on their mind. You're not going to say that to a 5-year-old. So, but as you got that agreement, as you feel like actually, and these might not be even one conversation, they could be a series of conversations, because it might be that the initial response would be like, why do I need to do that? None of my friends do it. So you need to overcome that. Just let them air their frustrations. Don't try to dismiss it. Don't try to brush it over. They had it easy so far, right? And you're going to make a change. So it's okay for them to sort of air it out, and you can just listen and just say, I see, I'm going to take that into consideration. I totally get that. You don't necessarily need to say, but hey, just a minute, I've been doing this for 15 years. Where's my, but just let them air it out. But once you have that agreement, it's absolutely a great idea to have all the family together, so you can divide the work. You can, as you said, you can put a chore chart in place. And that is basically just a visual representation of that agreement. Some people think that if they've prepared by themselves a chore chart and hanged it on the fridge's door, everyone's just going to start doing it. I mean, look, there's a chart and it took me an hour to figure it out together. No, the chore chart is just a visual representation of the agreement that you had with your family members.
That chores are part of a household function. Do you believe a child should be paid for that?
So I don't believe that children need to be paid for doing normal part of the routine type of housework, tidying up after themselves, tidying up the food that they ate, participating in cooking, helping to fold the laundry of the clothes that they're about to wear, and keeping the home environment clean. If this kind of work was paid for, we would all be very rich, because we all had to do it on a daily basis. In addition to that, there's a type of work that is not within that remit. Like for some people, it will be mowing the lawn. For some people, it will be tidying up the garage or washing a car. So we have that sort of job center where if I need to do something that I really don't feel like doing, actually, I would just offer the kids to do it for money. Sometimes they want to make more money than they currently get, and then they would volunteer to do it. I never make them wash my car or anything like that, but they do have an opportunities to work within the home, because in the UK you're not allowed to work until you're 14, and there aren't actually a lot of employment opportunities for the kids, and sometimes some of them really, really, really want to make money. So I would really sometimes just make up work for them and pay them for that, but it wouldn't be chores. It would be other things that are outside of that remit.
Just are struggling to teach your kids, struggling to do the full-time jobs. How do we balance all of that? Like, what can we do with that?
Because it used to be that we had more time to teach our kids how to help around the home. We had that mind space, but today, in so many households where both parents work, and when you come back home, you just want everything to be done. And that mindset of it's quicker to get things done myself or to delegate to someone else, and just to spend the little bit of time that we have with our kids doing something a bit happier than cleaning together. That is the current state of the society we live in. And as somebody who worked for years full time and benefited from a cleaner, I totally get it. And I feel grateful that at least the society didn't expect me to do all the cleaning, and that it wasn't frowned upon to bring someone in and give me a hand. But what's happening is that 25, I think the latest statistic of the kids do any type of thing around the home. So we sort of threw the baby with the bathwater, and the kids today are just not capable of taking care of themselves. So we need to find a way to empower everyone in the home, including mom and dad, but at the same time empower our kids as well, so that they don't get sort of left out in those important skills that need to be part of childhood, not just because the work needs to get done, but because these skills are, foundation. They need practice, and just like music and play and any type of skill, the sooner you start, the better you become at it, and you don't become that adult who just can't clean
Right.
or can't cook and have that almost like a disability, if that makes any sense.
No,
You can't take care of yourself, and if you don't have money, then you cannot delegate it to anyone else. So we need to find a balance between what our needs as parents, as adults, and the fact that our kids need to learn these skills.
So today we've learned some amazing tips on, again, a lot of this just boils down to communication. We need our kids to understand what we're doing and why. And as Sherry very adequately said several times throughout this video, you have to know your why. And I have a whole page that's set towards goals, because goals to me, if you don't know why you're doing something, if you don't know what your goal is, what you're trying to accomplish, you're just going to be spinning around in circles. So it is important you know your why or your goal, whatever word you want to use for that. And it's important that as you're talking to your children, that you listen to them as well. It always has to be a two-way communication, even when it's a little one and they are like, not totally understanding everything you're saying or doing. As Sherry had mentioned, you have to make it age appropriate, but they still need to hear you and you need to hear them. And together, coming up with some of the great solutions that she had on this, and whether or not you should pay or not pay, you as a family will come up with the ingredients that works to make your family what it needs to be so that you can accomplish your why. As always, we want to wish you an awesome day.